Hi, my name is Ngô and thank you for listening my presentation about the question 1 and question 2. So following the assignment you can see on the screen, in the question 1 I need to make the logwise. The image will slowly rotate and back to normal. For the zoom, it's also zoom out first and zoom in later on. For the faded, it will slowly fade it and slowly return to normal as well. So as you can see on the screen, I create three files XML include fade, rotate, and zoom in the folder animation here. And I also download the image about the born from the internet in and push into the drawable as well. So for the main activities, I have the name image button 1, button 2, button 3 will represent for the ID of clockwise zoom faded in the activities main layout. You can see here. Here is about the ID I mentioned above. So for this, I will I will start to making the function. So for about I make the name animation and animation will use the function animation utils load animation to get the application context in the folder animation rotate XML. This will also apply for the zoom faded as well. And when everything is finished, I will push the image setting before here and I will start the animation from ensure this function will occur smoothly. So let me talk about the layout here. In the layout, I create the image first and three buttons also setting for the ID of each of them. And in this layout, I using the linear layout for making for ensure this will have the smoothly and easy catchy for the layout. So what is the rotate zoom faded XML? It's here in the rotate I will show the activities first. The board will rotate around of themselves and turn the normal and return back. So for setting that, I will using the Android from degree 0 to degree 300 CD, and the next will opposite with 300 CD to the 0 degree, because we need to follow in the assignment that is rotate around for about 300 CD degree and return back, which means we need to add in the chord star offset. This code will represent for the function running before them. Like when I set in code right here, those of function or the code will run in first. After that, the code have start set will run in the final. Duration is about the timing of the animation will occurs in the animation. Yeah. So how about the zoom? The zoom here I using the chord scale x to y. The value of 1 is like not changing at all, and the value of 0.3 will zoom out for the value of 0.3. And of course, when zoom in again, we need to use the different values for 1 and 3. So you can see the example here. We will slowly zoom out and zoom in again. Finally, is about the faded. So Fridays is simply just using the chord from alpha, and 1 is represent not changing at all. To 0 will we have the blur of faded when we using that function, that coding. For example here, the object will slowly fade it and return to the normal. We have the blur right here. Yeah, that is all about the question one. So move on to the next one through following the assignment. So you can see on the screen, this question one requirement I need to make the SQLite database to store the friend list. So the friend list will also follow the task requirements right here. Name, handphone numbers, house address, making the button can remove, update or searching as well. So that is the question two. In the question two, it totally have the four files include database header, department, main activity, .java, and the last one is at the activities main XML. So let me talk about the layout first. Based on the requirement assigned question 2, I grade for value include ID, name, friend name, phone number, house address, and grade for buttons will represent for the function adding, switching, update, and delete. Finally, I need to grade the quick view for show of information into the four columns and number column right here. You can see the column will list on a four here. So the first step I will create a department.java because when we're using that we can using the constructor for setting the function getter and setter to make sure we can use that for the database helper. And also I create a variety department name, phone number, department address. Department just like a name I already set up before. It's not have meaning for the assignment as well. It's just a name. So after I have the getter and setter in the department of Java, I will moving immediately for the database helpers. In here, I also create the variety of ID, department name, phone number, and department address. And moreover, I created tables and set in the statements about rock table is this departments. After I create the table, I will also create the insert, update, and the delete. So in here, in the instance update and delete square represent for the function of those buttons in the next main activity.java. So the last one, we also need to create the arrays, array list, because when we're using the database for listing of the information from the customer or the user, we need to make the array list. And in the array list, we make the statements about the if while. In the while, I also have the list adding in the value from 0, 1, 2, 3. Four of each of them will represent for value when the user input right here. That is all of about database Hesper when store the information from the user. So the next is about the main activities. So first one is very basic and normally we need to create the ID like a variety, the ID for each of them. And this ID we also have include in the layout, as you can see here. Search, update, delete. So the next we will need to find view by ID, include in the layout activity mains XML. So for the next, in each of button, adding, searching, update, and delete, we need to show the rotation, the toes. The toes stand for the alert when the user or the customer inputs successfully. This will notification below the screen to show or inform for the user that he successfully input values. So I make the example right here. I input the ID one. The name is like Steve. Phone number 333, for example, and the house is district 12, and I add it. And you see here, add this successfully. When I'm shut again, it will show information I input here. Let me input more about the second ID. Is checks check phone number 0874444, for example, and this is the street through adding. See, adding successfully. So when I search again, it will show information as well, similar like the first input. And for the function update, for example, I will changing the district or adding more name in a stage of updates. You also see the toast of the day successfully. When I'm searching again, it automatically show the name I update in the value one. And how about delete function? So I want to remove or delete the function number two. I'm information number two. Simply just click on that, delete. It also refers delete successfully, and I'm searching again. It will totally disappear. It's very easy function, right? So the last information I want to talk about is about the display, because in this code here you see I set in the I divide 4 because when we input how many value or the information we want to show each of them in the one line. So which means I have four information. It will show four information here. It's very necessary for the user or developer to coding in the entire Android Studio. So that is all of my presentation about the question one and the question two. Thank you for listening my presentation.